Hey everybody, this is Renae from The Space Between, and you are listening to The Space Between podcast, the show that lets you listen to how the fans feel about the music, the art behind over 30 years of the Dave Matthews Band. Stay tuned. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Space Between podcast, the podcast where we talk about the fans of the Dave Matthews Band. Each week, I bring another fan of the Dave Matthews Band on the show to talk about their journey with this band that has been giving us music for almost 33 years now. So today is like every week, I have fans of the Dave Matthews Band, of course, but not one. I have two fans. So it's like a 2-for-1 on this show. Today, I have Jessica and Rich. So guys, welcome to the show. Tell me, I already know who you are. Where are you? And each tell me, like, how did you find this band that we love so much, the Dave Matthews Band?
Okay, I'll go first. Hey everyone, I'm Jessica. I got into the band probably, I was in college. I had a roommate next door and she always used to play Dave Matthews, Mary from Long Island. I'll never forget her. And she got me hooked, and I bought my first CD when I was in college, Crash, of course, first CD I bought. And that's how I got into the band. We currently live in Canton, Georgia, which is about almost an hour north of Atlanta.
Okay, awesome.
But we're originally from New York, so we've only been here a couple years.
Hi, I'm Rich. I followed the band maybe like late 90s. A girl at my old job got me into the band and just listened to him and stuff, and I was like, oh, I like this, so that's how I got into the band and stuff. So
awesome. So guys, what was it about the music the first time you heard it that kind of caught your attention? And because again, I like to say in the 90s the 90s was popular for more of like a grunge era, right? Like the music that the 90s is known for. While we like to identify the Dave Matthews Band with that wasn't necessarily in everyone's household. So yeah, number one, what were you listening to? And number two, what was it about the Dave Matthews Band that hooked you to kind of go in that direction?
I listened to like rock alternative back then, like Bush, Live, Third Eye Blind, stuff like that. And then I like the saxophone and the fiddle and just the different sounds you don't usually hear. It was just so different from other music, so that's what kind of glued me into them.
Yeah. Jessica, what were your thoughts?
And
what were you listening to?
Well, I was kind of listening to rap and R&B, which is like total opposite spectrum. But I did like Bush and Live, Stone Temple Pilots. Like I dabbled in all of that, but I love Biggie. Like in the 90s, I love Biggie, Jay-Z, Eminem, like all of those. I really, really, really liked that type of music. But then when my roommate introduced me to Dave Matthews, I was like, wow, same thing. Like they got all these amazing instruments in here, that you don't normally hear in a band. So that definitely drew me to listening to D&B.
Yeah, for sure. So let's talk about what your journey has looked like. So obviously both of you met the band. I like to say met the band in the 90s. And so what has it looked like up until now? Like, have you been a diehard the whole time, or when would you start saying that you were classified as a diehard Dave Matthews Band fan?
Once I went to my first concert, that was it. I was hooked. I didn't meet Jessica yet. I went with my best friend. Went to SPAC in 2000 in August, and they came out with the Stone. I was just like blown away. I was just like chills, and it was amazing. And after that, I was all on board after that. Like, I was into the band pretty good, but once the first show, that was it. I was sold. So
I agree. That's most people's story, is like once they saw them with their eyes instead of just their ears, like it all came together and they were like, yep, I'm in. I'm in.
So I would probably say it's the same, but the crazy thing is we both saw the band the same year, the same month, within like a couple days of each other. Our first concert. So I saw him at Hartford in 2000 was my first concert, and same thing. I completely fell in love with them right from the first show.
Right. Gosh.
Yeah.
And you guys both lived in a really, I say, saturated market as far as the Dave Matthews Band. And still to this day, the East Coast is notorious for getting more shows.
Yep.
But I still believe that like the bulk of the band's fans are on the East Coast, simply just because that's where they started. And there's a lot of major cities on the East Coast. So, I mean, I don't think it's, we all are jealous of the East Coast. People will say time and time again, like, the East Coast, like you guys are just so spoiled with the band. So you guys have been fortunate to see. So what are some highlights along your journey of venues on the East Coast? Like, what is your favorite venue as of now, if you have one?
I mean, we've hit the big three. So we've been to the Gorge, we've been to Alpine, and SPAC was our home venue.
Oh yeah.
Until we moved. But I really loved Alpine, and I know that's like a Midwest. I know it's like a Midwest.
I love it.
Everybody's so cool.
That was really that probably I would say is my favorite venue.
No, I think that's a solid answer, and I think a lot of people feel that way too. Before I had ever been, and I've only been the one time, but before I'd ever gone, people always described it as like the Baby Gorge. But I mean, people say that about a lot of places. They say that about SPAC, but the music truly was different at Alpine. And like you said, Rich, like the people were different, right? Like it was just so welcoming. And,
so nice.
I find it hilarious that we vacation in Wisconsin in the summer. Like, what the hell are we at a ski resort nonetheless, right?
I caught a lot of crap at work for that. They're like, wait, you're going to Wisconsin for vacation? Yeah, yes, I am.
Yes,
I'm going to eat all the cheese and all the beer I want.
That's right. Boy, their beer is special there. Like it's different, it's special, and the cheese, sign me up for all of it. So let's talk about how in the world did you guys meet? So it sounds like you were probably in a lot of the same places at the same time, listening to the same music. But how did you find each other?
You can tell the story.
Being out of college and stuff like that, it was hard to meet people. So Match.com was big then, and we met like that. I mean, I went a couple dates before I met Jessica, and then once I met her, that was it.
We are a prodigy of Match.com.
Yeah.
I love that.
But the thing that brought us together is both our profiles said I love Dave Matthews Band.
That was
that was like the thing that brought us together. Yeah,
absolutely.
So bizarre.
Our profile picture was pretty nice, and then I was like reading, I was like, Dave Matthews Band. Oh, there we go.
Jose, she's gorgeous and smart. Oh my God.
So.
Perfect combination. So, like, what was your first Dave experience together? Like, did you see him or them as you were dating, or was it until marriage that you guys saw him for the first time together?
So our first concert together was Pepsi Arena in Albany, and during one of his winter tours in December 2002.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. And we hadn't been together that long. I mean, we started dating in October.
Yeah, October. So a couple months.
Wow. So how long did you date before you got married?
We dated 5 years.
Wow,
but our first show together was only about 2 months after we had started dating.
After 3 years, I proposed, and then we did a 2-year engagement so we could save up, and then 5 years, and we got married. So
no, that sounds very responsible. I love that story. So obviously, tell me a little bit about your family. What does your family look like? Do you have children? Do you have pets? Like, and I'm going in that direction because, of course, I want to ask like what the kids think about this obsession that we all have, right? So what does your family look like?
So we have 2 kids, Abigail and Carter.
Named after the drummer.
Yep, obviously the drummer.
It's our favorite band member. So
Abigail is our teenager, and she wants nothing to do with the band.
Of course.
Carter is only going to be 10, so we're persuading him to.
He sings in the band. He sings in the car and stuff.
He knows all the words, so all the songs. He sings it. He hums it. So So
does he realize that? I mean, obviously he knows that he was named after the drummer, but like, have you ever found himself telling anyone else like that in pride, or is he kind of like, oh my God, I was named after a musician?
No, I think he likes it.
Yeah.
He would be very popular at a concert of Dave Matthews Band fans, right? Because they would be like, "Oh my God, that's so cool!" Right? So you just have they been to a concert yet?
Actually, this year we're gonna go to Virginia Beach with them once we get tickets.
Yay!
So that's the plan. So.
And do they know about this yet? Like,
yes,
they do.
Is it a surprise? Are they excited?
I think Carter is.
I mean, again, still young, but I mean, he'll enjoy it, right? Because it's summer and they can just kind of like run around. I don't know, if seating wise, what y'all decided to do, but like, I think that you could still find fun even if you didn't dig the music, right? Like, because it's just that kind of atmosphere at a concert. So let's talk about that a little bit. Obviously, one of the things I talk about on this podcast is the fans that surround the band. And so that's a sense of community outside of the music. So what does that look like for you guys? I know that you have had some parties and some things after you moved to Georgia. So tell me like what your voyage looks like on the fan side of the Dave Matthews Band and what this community means to you guys.
So I guess I'll take this. So, it's hard when you move away from somewhere you've lived 40 plus years, right? Like we're born and raised in New York and we decided we're moving. During the pandemic, we moved during the pandemic.
Oh my gosh.
And then we're like, great. Yeah, it was the best decision.
It was best thing, yeah.
But you move away from all your friends and family. We do have, his family does live here, but that friend aspect is missing, right? So now you got to start your whole look for new friends.
Right.
We're like, well, we're going to turn to Dave Matthews and see, so he did the research on Facebook.
Just looking for any tribute band or anything. Matthews, and then.
And we found a tribute band that was playing at this bar named Lucky's, which is ironic because our dog name is Lucky.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
And there's also a Facebook group just for Georgia, DMB Family Georgia. So we joined that and we just started having conversation with, who's going to this. We met a bunch of people there at this tribute band show, and two of the people we've met there, like, we're really good friends with now.
Really cool.
Awesome.
Shows with them. We just went to Deer Creek with them.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's been pretty amazing. So
yeah, it's amazing, this community. And I was just talking about this the other day. It's like you could literally travel anywhere in the United States and kind of we have a directory online, right? Like, okay, who's in Florida, who's in Texas, and if you just put out like, hey, I'm going to be wherever, people will meet you just simply for the fact that they know that you're also a Dave Matthews Band fan, right? And I think that that's wild, and it may sound really crazy to people outside of this, that we're just like flagging down strangers going, hey, if you like the Dave Matthews Band, do you want to meet me in this city and have a drink? That's the only prerequisite, right?
Yep.
It sounds crazy, but it works. It works in this community. And it sounds like you've really met some solid friends after moving to a completely, like, basically foreign land. And you were able to find friends just like that because of the music.
Yeah.
So it really is more than just the music, but let's go back to the music. What is your favorite song? And I know I hate that question before it even comes out of my mouth, but like, if you had to kind of say, well, let's talk about what are your requests for Mexico? I know you guys are headed to Mexico next week. And so if you could ask Dave and Tim to play anything those days, what song would it be? That's a tough question.
My favorite song, 41, but I really want to hear Shotgun, but I don't know if he's going to do it acoustically though. But
I think you'll get 41 for sure, though. I think that's happening.
Yeah, that's a given. I know that. But I would love to hear Shotgun.
But Shotgun, that'd be great.
Cool. Yeah.
Has he ever done that with just Dave and Tim?
I don't
think so. That's why it's reaching a little bit, but
you know what?
Never know.
You never know.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. So, Jessica, what would be your please, Dave, please?
I mean, I have my favorites, but I don't really know. It's weird. I'm not chasing anything. I had been chasing Dreaming Tree for 40 plus shows, and I finally got it in 2022. And then I'm like, okay, I'm done.
We got it twice too.
We got it twice.
That's amazing.
We got it at the Atlanta show and then at Alpine night too.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't really have
anything
I'm chasing. My favorites though, I'll never turn down Crush or Pig. Those are my two favorite songs live. So
I agree. So I know obviously you guys have a whole art museum of Dave Matthews Band posters. So I think it kind of begs the question, are you collectors of art when it comes to the Dave Matthews Band? And I don't know if this camera is movable. Is this camera movable? Like, can you move it, or would that just destroy everything?
Yeah. No, I don't think so. This is my the home office where I work, and there's a lot of posters in here.
Yeah, you can. Okay. So this kind of begs for me to say, guys, if you are listening to this on a podcast app, just know that you can also watch it on my YouTube channel, which is just simply the Space Between podcast. And so you'll be able to see Jessica and Rich, and they are kind of giving us a little tour of their home office, and it has amazing posters. Look at that big-eyed fish right there. I love it. Oh, and you've got Dave standing in the corner guarding all of your art. Dave must have been bad. You need to turn him around. Put him in the corner. Oh, wow. So, I mean, do you guys have a favorite when it comes to this art?
Oh,
that's a tough question too, because they're all really good. You've got some good ones.
Well, we have a bunch in our dining room too. So we have the 2019 Sperry, Sperry, and then we have the
Madison Square Garden,
the 2021 Eads from Madison Square Garden.
Awesome.
And then the foil from Alpine Night One.
Oh wow. Wow. Be like, hey kids, this is your college tuition money. Right
I don't know. I mean, my favorite, I really love the Bethel bus, which is up here in the corner.
Wow. I haven't seen that one.
No,
that's good. No, I haven't ever seen that one. I don't think, or maybe I haven't. I've lost my mind, which is very possible. That's very good.
And the apple is my favorite.
Oh, I love that. That's really good. It's just it's a hanging portfolio, right? Of it's your 401k, your retirement. It's all hanging on your walls.
And we have a whole pin collection too. So
awesome. I love that. I've just kind of recently got into that game and then realized how big of a game it is, because I want to say that there's even a Facebook page for pin collectors when it comes to the Dave Matthews Band. And so, that's where a lot of fans get to kind of show their skills when it comes to art, and I really kind of dig it. We have so many creative people out there that are just beyond talented, and so that makes me think of things like swag, things like in Mexico, everyone says that the swag game is massive, that everybody kind of brings stuff to share stuff. So you guys have been to Mexico before, is that right?
Oh no.
Yeah, oh my God. What are y'all thinking? Like, how is this something that you've always wanted to do, or you just were like, you know what, everybody says it's awesome, let's go?
No, we've been wanting to do it for a long time. It's just, it is an expensive trip. And then what are we going to do with the kids? The kids are still in school. Right. The kids are still in school. So we're finally like, you know what, we're doing it. We're only going to live once. You only live once.
Only one time.
And everyone says, oh, I'm only going to do it once. And then they do it a gazillion times.
So I think it's one of those things that once you do it, then you kind of have to start going, well, we either need to make more money so we can do it all, or I'm going to have to pick Mexico or summer tour, like not both, right? And I don't like those kinds of decisions. Which one? But I was, I'm going for the first time this year, and I'm so excited. And everyone has kind of just said, go into it blind and just see what happens, right? Well, they don't know me because I can't do that. Like, I've already Googled the shit out of everything. Like, what is the resort like? What are the times of this? What's the schedule like? Look, because I want to do all of it. I just talked to someone and they were like, hey, can we meet at whatever? And I was like, look, I'm going to sleep from like 1 to 5. And then the rest of the time I'm up because hey, we only do live once, right? And so if this is the one and only time that I get to do Mexico, I'm gonna come home going, you know what? I did everything and I'm exhausted, right? Gonna need a vacation from the vacation. But I'm so excited, and I can't wait, and I'm excited to meet you guys in person for sure. So how could it be bad? I mean, the music itself is going to carry the whole vacation because it's going to seem so intimate, and that's one of the things I've heard is that Dave and Tim is worth it for that intimate experience. And historically you get more conversation, right? So Dave talks, whereas in the summer shows, that's really not something that we get to do just for time's sake, right? Like it's a concert and that's what we're here for. But how they can sell Mexico is you do get more of that intimate Dave talk, which we all kind of crave, right? Because you never know what this man is going to say, right? Like it could be gibberish. It could be like the most prophetic thing you've ever heard and been like, holy shit, like I literally just changed my life with 10 words, or, you just never know. So you have to listen and be very fucking quietly, like everyone says, right? Because if you're behind me and you're talking, I'm about to turn around.
I have that on a shirt.
I mean, it's true. And, sometimes, you just can't help but to whatever. But let's talk about some concert experiences. So what are some concerts in your history that's kind of stuck out for whatever reason? Either, obviously we know that the first one you went to obviously was such a big deal, but past that, are there any concerts that stuck out to you guys along your journey?
I mean, I would say Citi Field in 2010. We
were in a pit.
We were in the
first time too. So
it was the first time we ever had pit. It was almost 100 degrees. Hot, it was really really scorching hot. And Rich is a huge Met fan. So to be in the outfield, in the pit,
it was like cloud nine.
it was pretty amazing. And Zach Brown opened up for DMB, and it was the first time we saw Zach Brown. They were really good too.
Yeah, I was really impressed.
Wow. It was, and the set list was really good. It's probably my favorite version of two-step ever. Yeah.
And that's saying a lot though, right? Yeah. But that's true. Like there are certain albums, and I think the live albums, and I think a lot of people would back this up, the live albums are kind of my favorite, right? Because there's so much variation between songs, right? Like if you just listen to the studio album, you've heard that version, right? But if you're in the community and you know about the music, when we talk about a song, we're going to do exactly what you just did. We're going to say this song, but at this place this year, right? You have to be very specific. And I find that hilarious because the more I talk to people and the more I ask, like, what sticks out to you? That's the exact answer I get, right? Is, Seek Up at what field at this night, whatever. And I love that so much. And that just goes to prove so much for the band, right? That for 33 years, they've been making music, recreating music. Like they just have the right formula and the right people to just explode even 30 years after they started. What are your thoughts on like their longevity? Like how in the world, and not that I expect you to have this answer, but like what do you think? What is going on? How can a band hold on for over 30 years? I mean, I always joke that like, what is it? Carter's pretty close, if not able to file for his Medicare benefits at this time, right? And he's still killing it as a rock star. So, I'm sure that they have masseuses and things that follow them, but it seems to me like for a band to do this, and we know that this is not a money issue, I should hope not. I think they really keep doing it because they love it. What are your thoughts on that?
No, I think they do it because they love it, and I think they do it for their fans because they know the fans love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and we would hope that they would play for forever. I mean, look at Dead and Company and look at Bob Weir. So like,
right.
It's like they're having fun on stage too, where they're really enjoying. It's like, I think they're getting paid, but it's fun for them. It's not like a normal job. You're like, oh, I got to go to work today. It's like, I got to play music today in front of this huge crowd, and they're probably the energy and stuff. I'm sure.
I agree. And I think if we could ask them, they would say those same things again, because they don't have to be doing this. They enjoy doing that. And just like you said, Rich, that is very apparent when you can watch them on stage and the way they communicate with each other and the way they laugh and they smile, and even, you know, off stage, the way that I think that they just present themselves as such good people in general. Now, you know, obviously none of us know what's going on behind their doors and in their houses, but they present themselves as pretty amazing people, and that love what they do. So I hope for many more years. But, you know, we're all having that side conversation in our head, like, no one's getting any younger here, right? Like, how long can a band survive? And what will that look like? And I don't even like to think about that, because then I have to start thinking about like support groups for Dave Matthews Band fans, right? Like, because we're all going to need some kind of therapy, right? Like, what do we do with all this time? And how do we see all our friends? I mean, I think that even when it's over, as far as the community goes, I think that people will still get together. And that's the hook for me when it comes to community, because it's not surface level relationships. Yes, you meet them and it is like a common bond between the band, but then it grows into like actual relationships where they know more about you than just your passion for music. And so it's comforting to know that, like, even when the music isn't live anymore, our friendships that we made because of this band still will be. And so that's such an amazing thing. And outside of sports, I don't feel like I see that kind of gathering of people that's so I don't know. I mean, sports is something that I can compare a lot to our fanhood to, you know, as far as going out and tailgating and talking about it and wearing the garb and like all the things. But there, other than that, you know, it's hard for me to think of anything that has this kind of passion behind it. But, you know, I think that's what's carried the bands. And I think that's what continues to hook fans to be part of this community and part of the music, is because of all the things that come along with the music. And so it's this whole wonderful thing that we have found. And because we have found it, we found so much more. Ooh, it looks like, you know, Al, you got some glasses from Al.
Oh yeah, I have a whole
him.
collection. We have our ones for Mexico. We have the special Mexico ones.
So where is this one? I don't know if you can.
That's Deer Creek.
Deer Creek, yeah.
So
Deer Creek.
That's all of our Georgia family.
No way.
Yeah. So, you know, you talk about community and people staying together afterwards. So I guess that's kind of a good segue for me to talk about what we've done the last 2 years.
Yes.
So last year or 2 years ago, I had this idea. I'm like, well, you know, once the tour is over, you don't really see anyone. You talk to people online, you talk to them on the phone or text message or whatever, but I was like, it'd be nice if we could get together like right before the holidays and all get together and talk about, you know, the tour, what the next tour looks like. So the past 2 years we've done a Holli-Dave party
Fun, yeah.
in the beginning of December, and we invite everyone over and we do a white elephant, all DMB related. So
awesome.
every gift is some kind of DMB related gift, and it's been a lot of fun because it's a way for us all to get together outside of the tour.
Yes.
And see each other when you normally wouldn't, really.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So that says a lot about your community, that you were comfortable enough to, after moving to a new state, that you were like, you know what, I'm just going to throw a party for the Dave Matthews Band people at Christmas. And so it sounds like, yeah, that in Georgia, there's a lot of fans and a lot of strong fans that wanted to come. And I'm sure that we have pictures up on YouTube right now from the Christmas party. So guys, again, if you're watching this on YouTube, you'll be able to see their Holli-Dave party. I like the name of it. I want to come. I mean, if you weren't so far, yeah, I would just be right over.
You could come. I mean, we have invited people from out of state. I mean,
everyone's invited.
Never know, yeah.
More than welcome. One of our friends does live about 2.5 hours south, so we're like, just come and stay
over,
right?
Drive,
right? Exactly.
And
that's right.
And she did. It was awesome.
I love that. So that's going to be an annual thing for you guys, right? If it works out.
Yep. Yeah.
God, I love that.
Yeah, the first Saturday in December. Oh, it'll always be the first Saturday in December.
You've marked it down. 2024 is planned. So guys, if you're not doing anything, the first Saturday of come on down to Georgia. We're having a Holli-Dave party.
We don't have that.
I said we like I'm helping you. We're having a party.
I feel like moving down here like opened us up, because in New York we stayed in a little bubble with our friends.
Oh yeah.
And coming down here now, we're like everybody. We just want to meet everybody and new people and stuff.
And I also think social media has helped too.
Oh, yeah,
I mean, social media, when we were in New York, I don't think it was what it is.
Yeah, it wasn't as prevalent
now.
Right.
But yeah, we definitely did live in a little bubble in New York.
It's easy to do. It's easy to get in that. But yeah, I would agree. Like, I can't imagine that I would know many people at all if I weren't on social media, because that really is kind of where you find out when things are happening. I kind of call it like my little, I guess, news feed, really, even though it's just Facebook, right? Like, that's where I get my news from, right? Because if it's happening in the world, it might not be true on Facebook, but like, I'm going to know if something bad happens, but I'm also going to know if any tour dates drop faster on Facebook than anywhere else. So I just can't imagine being very connected if I wasn't on social media. And so guys, if you're listening to this and you're like, what the hell are they talking about? If you're on Facebook, if you're on Instagram, even TikTok, I'm sure on XYZ, all the different apps that's out there, there is a Dave Matthews Band fan page. Facebook has 1,000,002, right? Like, as she said earlier, there's a DMB family for Georgia. I know there's one for Arkansas. There's one probably for every state. And then outside of that, it's okay, well, then there's one for this venue for this year. And this, so if you like stretch yourself thin, like I know that we all have all over Facebook, you really start making those connections with people and go, oh, hey, I'm going to be there too. Let's meet up so we can meet face to face. Right. And so that's how it all happens. So if you're not connected, I think, in those groups on social media, I think you're missing out on a big part of the Dave Matthews Band, because like we've all said, this family that comes along with the music is really just such a valuable piece to the music. And I think can even make you fall in love with the band even more, because people share, what their favorite songs are and why, right? Like why that touched them in that way. And it makes you look at that song very differently, right? So I enjoy having my thoughts turned, like, because I would have never seen it that way had you not told me this is what this song did for me, or this is what I picked up from this song, or whatever. And so I just think that the family around the music is invaluable, and I'm so, so thankful for them. And I'm just thankful for this band that we've had what seems like my whole life, and it's not that long, it's not that old, but like for the band came out when I was 11, and so obviously I wasn't listening to them at that point, but as long as I can remember, they've always been in the background, right? And so you may feel the same way. And so I think when I look back on my life, I really do believe that this is going to be a big portion of who I am and what I did with my time. And when our grandchildren are looking back at all the fun things that we've done, this is going to be what your children see, what your grandchildren see, is like, mom and dad really loved this band and they traveled together. And what a beautiful story that is, because, no matter if it's tennis or music or museums, you guys have found like a common bond thing that not only you both love, but also it's fun for you guys to do together. So I'd like to think that it's helped you guys, grow in your marriage. I don't know if that's true, but it definitely didn't hurt, right?
New experiences, visiting places we'd never been to and stuff. It was just, been all good.
Yeah, it's been a pretty amazing ride.
Yeah.
And we do like to try a new state or new venue once a year. I mean, that's now that the kids are older, that is kind of our goal.
Yeah.
Checking off that bucket list. This year is Mexico. So
I'm so excited I'm so excited, and I hate to keep talking about it, because I know the people that are listening to this are going, okay, shut the fuck up, right? Like, well, because that's how I felt every year that I wasn't going. I was like, shut the fuck up, I don't care, even though like I secretly so badly want to be there, but like I don't want to see I remember, hand to God, this was such like a stupid bitch move, but like I didn't even want to get on Facebook last year, because I was like, no, no, I don't want to see what I'm missing. Like, no. But this year I'm just like, I'm going to load up that Facebook, right? And like everybody at home is going to be like, bitch, stop posting 101 pictures of you on the fucking beach with Dave and Tim, right? Like, no, we're doing it this year.
You're definitely not alone in that, because I have had those feelings even during summer tour, like at the gorge or at the back, and I'm like, I wish I was there. I can't look at these pictures anymore.
I know. But thank God for the couch tour, right? Like, is that something you guys really use?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. We watched for fall tour. We couch every single show.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's amazing, and such a shout out to that group. That's a group I'm definitely in middle of conversations with, trying to get them to come on the show to tell me, how in the world did you start this? Because it is such a tool for the fans, and obviously it was created by the fans for the fans, and it has grown into this thing that we rely on, right? Because it does give us some kind of comfort when we are having those bitch like feelings, like, oh, I wish I was there, but I can't. And then you're like, oh, well, I'm just going to sit on the couch and watch it, and this is pretty awesome, right? Like, it's amazing. We got a front row. I'm in my pajamas eating popcorn, and if I need to pee, you know what, still pause, I get to go, and then it's kind of wonderful, right?
Yep.
I mean, it's second best for sure. I'm so thankful for that group, and God, I don't know how, Suzanne Swirl, don't you? How the hell does that lady hold her hand up that long?
You know what? She's always got the best streams ever.
She does.
Like, where's Suzanne? Is she gonna stream tonight?
Yeah. She's amazing. And she's so dedicated to doing it. And I promise, if anyone's listening to this and doesn't know her personally, she really is doing it for the viewers. She is not doing it selfishly for herself or to get any kind of admiration or thanks or praise for doing it. I've heard some stories of people that have messaged her and just been so emotionally thankful for being able to still be very connected and going to concerts, because they were battling, XYZ, whether it was cancer or whatever, just how comforting that was to them. And that kind of got me thinking, like, okay, if I wasn't physically, financially, mentally, whatever it was, able to go to these concerts, what a comfort it would be to be able to just turn that on. So I'm just so thankful for the people that do that. I don't know how you do it, because I don't have that strength in your arm. It's like a 1 pound camera, but after 2 hours, that thing feels like 50 pounds, right?
Yep.
So super thankful for that. So guys, let's talk about 2024 and the tour that's ahead of us. Of course, a few weeks ago, the tour dates came out. It seems like a few weeks ago. I don't even know if it really was, but it seems like a few weeks ago. I feel like I've been planning like the whole time, just like, okay, can I get here? Can I take off this? All of the things that comes when tour dates come out. What are you planning? And, planning is in pencil, right? We can erase it if it doesn't work out. But what have you got penciled in so far?
Well, I mean, I think with doing Mexico, we've kind of used up our babysitter.
I feel you.
So we're taking the summer tour pretty lightly this year. Obviously, we're going to do our home show, which is Alpharetta. Alpharetta is only 40 minutes. It's only 40 minutes from us.
That's awesome.
And it's an awesome venue. It's small. The acoustics are really good. So we'll definitely be going there.
Yeah.
And Virginia Beach
with the kids. Yeah.
And we're gonna bring the kids and make a mini vacation out of it.
So a beach day, band, and it'll be good.
Yeah.
I know you will take a million pictures because you're a mom and of course and a dad. So you're gonna take a million videos of the kids and their first experience. So I definitely can't wait to watch that, because it's gonna be sweet, right? Like it'll be a sweet memory for you guys. They might not like it, but you will.
We've already been told you cannot post on Instagram
by Abby,
by our daughter.
Mom, how dare you?
Like blowing it up, saying
teenagers. So
she knows you.
She does not want that. So.
No, I feel you. My 13-year-old feels the very same way about the band. She's just like, like it was just the worst thing she'd ever had to listen to, but I think it is because, it's I'm her mom, right? And whatever my mom was listening to at my age, I probably rolled my eyes at it too. So it's just
I know for a fact I did. My dad was heavily into music, and I'm like, oh, why are we listening to this?
Right.
But now I look at him like, that music's amazing.
Yeah, good taste, yeah.
Exactly. Well, it's kind of like a taste bud. Like their ears will mature and their brains will mature, and they're going to be like, oh, what other bands have you heard where you have like an electric guitar and a saxophone and what, all the things that it's going to stick out to them at some point because it is so different than a lot of other bands. But I don't think that they can understand that until they've had way much more experience, because it's easy for you and I to say, right? Because we've seen and we've been alive for so long that we know kind of like what a band structure is. And this is just not typical, right? And so they can't possibly get it for what it is yet, but hopefully that grows as they get older. And like I said earlier, it will just be one of those things that they're always going to be emotionally attached to, whether they like it or not, because it's going to be something that always reminds them of you. And so that's going to be really sweet in the future. But for right now, Mom and Dad, you're totally weird. And you're okay with that, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally fine with it. I mean, we did take Carter a couple weeks ago. Jeff Coffin did a thing with the band of other brothers at Kennesaw State University, which is like 20 minutes from us. So we did bring Carter with us to that, and he loved it.
We were in the front row too. We were like right there.
It was pretty amazing. Just jazz music. There's no singing.
It's instrumental, but it was good.
It was pretty amazing.
Yeah, it was good.
So and he liked it. He goes, Mom, I really like that. And then he's talking about the different musicians. He's like, I like the bass guy, and I like the. I was like, oh.
That's great though. I mean, even from a 10-year-old, like for him to be able to kind of just watch it and hang on to it and note that it was cool. Like I think that I know that music is art. And so I think if we expose our children to that continuously, like at some point they're going to pick up on it and maybe even become interested in playing, some kind of instrument. That wasn't the story for me. Like I'm not musically talented and I love music. So it doesn't come to everyone that wants it. But you never know, that may spark something in their brains and go, hey, I really do like that bass is really cool. Like, hey, Mom and Dad, I want to, and that would be cool, right? Like, hey, look what happened, right? So do either of you play any instruments, or are either of you musically inclined at all?
No.
Okay. Well, it's good to know I'm not the only one.
Yeah. No, we're on the artistic side though, on the, artsy side, not musical.
Yeah. I so badly wanted to be. I mean, I butchered the clarinet for a year, and I don't know where I thought that was going to take me, but we got a whole 1 year of butchering the clay. And then, of course, who doesn't want to be a drummer? Everybody. And I'll give myself props. Like, I'm an amazing air drummer in the car, like top 10, probably. I don't know if you guys air drum in the car, but I'm pretty good at it. But yeah, I think that who knows what the kids are going to do. It's always going to be fun to see. But like I said, they're always going to love the band just because you guys loved it. Well, guys, thank you so much, first of all, for being on the show, just to kind of share your journey. It's always good to hear someone else's journey, because I think it makes everyone feel a little bit less crazy, if you know what I mean, that we're not the only one chasing this band. Clearly, there are 35,000 of us, as everyone says. And so we're all doing it the same, and we're all chasing this band who keeps giving us music that we just love so much, and it's impacted our lives. When we think of certain songs, we think of certain moments. I mean, I think we can all hear that one song and be taken back in our heads to this exact moment. And I think that's such a powerful thing. And so the Dave Matthews Band is more than just music to us. It really is just a big part of our lives. And so thank you for sharing your story with everyone. I really appreciate it. And I think a lot of people are going to love that you have a love story under the Dave Matthews Band. And I think that's pretty awesome too, that you were able to find your soulmate, right? And soulmates usually do have that connection above, like, all the normal things that you look for in a spouse. Like you both really kind of needed the other person to like the Dave Matthews Band, because it was probably going to continue to still be a big part of your life, whether they were or not, right?
Yes, definitely.
So it just worked out that you both, and how cool that, like, even back in the Match.com days, they were, you said clearly that that was what your life was about. And so it was an instant swipe left, swipe right, but it was before that. I don't know what you did on Match. Like, what was it? Did you just like click on them? I don't even know.
You just clicked on.
I think
just click on them.
I remember.
I don't know.
I have no idea. That feels like forever ago, but like that was the first version of all the things that are out now, right? And what a great way to meet people. I mean, I remember back in those times when they first came out, people thinking like how crazy it was, right? That you would go on the internet to meet strangers. But isn't that what dating is in general? You're getting to know strangers.
It's true. Yeah.
It's, I don't know. It's no different.
My mom wasn't too keen on it. She's like,
I bet.
You met someone online and you're going on a date with him. Okay, we're gonna have so and so follow you, and I'm like, no, we're not doing that. I'm in my 20s. I'm okay.
Yeah, and it worked out. Look, Mom, it's a success. It's a success. Well, guys, again, thank you so much for being on the show. And if you are listening to this and you have a story, a journey with the Dave Matthews Band that you would like to share, everyone, be sure to reach out to me on any of the socials, or my email is simply kissonthelipsmeyer@gmail.com. And so again, if you want to see the schedule of fans that are going to be on the show in February, we have been doing 2 shows a week. I don't know if that'll continue into March, but we'll be at least doing 1 show a week. And so that means every week a new fan will come on to talk about their journey. So stay tuned on social media to see who is coming out next. But Jessica, Rich, thank you so much for being on the show and sharing a little bit of your time today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Our pleasure. Thank you.
Be sure to stay tuned next Friday where we'll have another guest on to share. And in the meantime, peace, love, and Dave Matthews Band.